Daniel with All About Food. Today I had a half of a watermelon that I needed to use, so I decided what we're going to do is I went ahead and cut up my watermelon and took the rind, cut all the pink off of it, and any of the green places that had some brown where the watermelon had been sitting on the ground, I went ahead and cut that off of the rind. And what we're going to do is we're going to make fermented watermelon rind pickles. Now, with the fermenting, what you're going to need to do is I took 1 quart of water and 3 tablespoons of canning salt. You can use sea salt as well, but you don't want to use iodized salt. I would recommend canning salt or sea salt. So 3 tablespoons of the canning salt to 1 quart of water. Now, what we're going to do is I'm going to add some fresh dill out of my herb garden outside. I'm going to add a dried pepper just for looks, because it's probably not going to give it any heat. And I've got quite a few cloves of garlic in here. And I really like garlic, so I'm putting quite a bit in here. Now, in this, I've got some cracked black pepper, if you can see it. I've got coriander seeds, mustard seeds, and a little bit of fennel seeds. Now, I didn't measure this out. You can use however much or however little you like, and you don't even have to put any spices or anything in with your fermented stuff. And if you want to, use what you have on hand. But like I said, you don't even have to add any spices if you don't want to any of your fermented foods. So I'm going to put that in there. And then next, what we're going to do, just add our watermelon rinds in here. And we're going to want to pack these down really tight, because at the end, when we end up adding our water, we don't want any of this to be above the water. All of it has got to be below the water in order to ferment correctly. So you're just going to fill your rinds in your jar, kind of push them down as you go the best you can. Yep, there went that one. Just a bit on here. Now you can do this with all different kinds of vegetables. You can do it with carrots, you can do it with corn, green beans, onions, cucumbers. I mean, there's a variety of stuff you can use. And actually the fermented stuff is really good for you because of the natural probiotics and stuff that's in there after it ferments. It's actually really good for you. Okay, so pretty much got the majority of these in here. And what I'm going to do is I saved the bottom part. And what I'm going to do is just kind of make this put this over the top, kind of make like a lid type, so the rest of your stuff doesn't come above the water. And if you don't want the green part left on your rinds, you can just go ahead and peel that off, but I mean, it doesn't hurt anything. Okay, so I think I'm good with that. Now, all you're going to do is take your 1 quart of water with 3 tablespoons of salt. You just want to pour this over here. You want to completely fill up to where everything is covered. Now, actually, I kind of shake it around and stuff because you don't want to do that. You definitely don't want to make a mess. But, of course, we do sometimes. And it doesn't hurt anything. Hold on just a moment. Okay. Let's try this again. Alright. Actually, with what dumped out, well, I'm going to need just a little bit more. Because we're going to take, you can find any kind of container or weight, that what we're going to do is we're going to put this on top, and when we put our lid on there, this is going to press down in order to keep everything underneath the liquid, and this is actually a little bit too much liquid, so you just want to press down so you know when you have your lid on here that everything's going to be covered. And just a pinch more. And you may have to add more brine as this process goes along, because as this ferments, it's going to bubble and release air. And what I'll do is I'll burp this every few days, and how you know when it's done is when your bubbles stop coming up through here and it's not bubbling anymore, then you know it's done. Alright, so we got that. That's going to cover everything. So let me find a lid here. Okay, now when you can your stuff and you open your stuff back up, I save all of my lids for stuff like this, because you can always reuse your lids for things like this that doesn't need to be sealed. So all we're going to do is we're going to get our lid on there and our ring. Alright, and everything's covered up with the liquid. What we'll do is we'll set this, you want to set this in a bowl or something, because as this ferments, there's a chance that liquid will leak out of here as it builds up pressure, but that's why we're going to burp it every couple days to let the excess pressure out of there. And it usually takes about a week or two. I mean, it just depends. We'll leave this setting on the counter, and we'll check on it here in a few days and see how it's doing. Pickled watermelon rind, our fermented watermelon rind, we pickled it using fermentation. It's been setting for about a week now, and I have tasted this. There's no new bubbles forming up through here. The taste is just right. So we're just going to store this in the refrigerator. It'll last for quite a few months. You'll know if it goes bad or not. Alright, hope everyone enjoys.